Welcome everybody to Dallas Personal Robotics Group Robot Builders Night Virtual for Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. Tonight we'll do our normal presentation of projects and then open up the floor for discussions. Club business, Robo Columbus 2026 is coming quick. Only around 4 months left until the event. Get working on your robot and see you there. First up for presenters tonight, we have Tom, who's got a cautionary tale for us.
I think I may have mentioned back a year and a half ago that I had upgraded my outside security cameras from a very old set of analog cameras to a nice new shiny set of 4 megapixel power over Ethernet Linux based cameras. Really, really nice stuff. Well, about 3 nights ago, we had a very, very momentary millisecond long power failure here in the middle of the night, which I know about because I still have several clocks that stop working when the power goes out. But I knew it was really short because not all of them stopped, only the ones that are really sensitive to power glitches. But that was okay. Everything else seemed to be working okay. All the usual electronics in the house was working great. I came down to my workshop and where I normally run a monitor with my security cameras on it, and they're all black. There's no signal from any of them, which is kind of worrisome. So I do all the usual things, check the power on the switch, and check that the server is running, and reboot the server to make sure the server is not a problem, and go outside and look at all the wires, all the endpoint flashing indicator lights. They're all working on the ends of the Ethernet wires that are out of doors, but none of the 4 cameras are working. I can't even access them anymore. I can't see them in a LAN scan anymore. So I removed one of them from its mount and brought it inside. There it is there. I took it apart so I could have a look inside. I hooked it up locally. When I hook it up locally to the power over Ethernet switch, I can hear the Linux processor powering up, and I can hear it operating. These things have little sensors and devices that control the infrared LEDs. I can hear those operating when I cover the sensor. So a multimeter shows that there's 12 volts running here. So the power converter is working fine. But it looks like a power glitch has created a surge in the internet wires and taken out the internet interface, the Ethernet interface. And if you take a closer look at this, I'm not sure how this works. There are 2 printed circuit boards, a bottom one and a top one. The bottom one contains, thank you. The bottom one contains the camera, and it contains the embedded Linux system. And the top one contains the power regulator and the Ethernet interfaces. You can see there's a little Ethernet transformer module in there and a bunch of other parts. It looks like all 4 of these Ethernet boards have failed, although the voltage regulator parts are still working fine. I have yet to test this. I have a 5th camera that was not hooked up, so I will do some board interchange to confirm that the rest of these cameras are working and only the board has failed. The boards are readily available. They're a generic board. They're not custom fitted to these cameras. They're made to use in many power over Ethernet installations. And the boards are like 10 bucks Canadian each on AliExpress. So rather than screw around with them anymore, once I confirm by substitution the board has failed, I'll just buy a whole bunch more. But naturally, that's not the end of the story, because I then started to do a whole lot of research and discovered that this is not an uncommon problem at all with power over Ethernet that goes outside. It turns out that what is really recommended is that you put surge suppressors on the power over Ethernet cables. Ideally, put one at each end. I'm not going to bother to put them on the outside end where the cameras are, simply because it would be too difficult to hook up a solid earth ground to them out there. But it is certainly a good idea to hook them up at the inside end where they're close to the switch, where I can easily get access to a very good earth ground. It also looks like the surge suppression on the 110 volt feed to my power over Ethernet switch may not be very good as well. after doing some research on it, it turns out it just doesn't have much in the way of surge suppression. It's got noise filtering, but not surge suppression. I suspect that may be true for a lot of the local area network components I have here. I've had computers running for eons in my basement. I've never had a problem with computers, but I wouldn't want to take out my entire network infrastructure, of which I have a fair bit. So I'm on the search for surge suppression that I can plug many of my devices in my workshop into from a 110 volt point of view, since I don't actually have anything like that here. And I'm also going to purchase some power over Ethernet cable, RJ45 surge protectors to go in line in the Ethernet wires that go out of doors, where that apparently is the biggest issue, although I may just buy enough so that I can place one on every one of the power over Ethernet ports on my switch. So that's the direction I will take. It's unfortunate that I will have some costs associated with getting the cameras back in operation, and some additional costs to provide protection that I never realized I needed. I just wondered, has anyone else run into this before?
Do you think it was caused by like a lightning strike?
No, I think it was caused by a surge in the power line. But the reading that I've been doing today indicates I should be thinking about both of those things.
Oh, okay.
There are huge numbers of opinions on the whole issue of lightning surges. Some people say, well, yeah, if you're dumb enough to put a camera up high on a pole in the middle of a parking lot, of course it'll get hit by lightning. But that's not where my cameras are. My cameras sit under the eaves in my house, and the cable runs out of doors are relatively short, although they are still, it is still possible to get EMI interference building up in those cable runs if there is a nearby lightning strike. We've had quite a series of thunderstorms, lightning, and so forth over the course of the last 4 or 5 days, but I don't know that there was a thunderstorm at night when this particular power fail occurred. We had a whole lot of them last night, but that wasn't an issue. So anyway, so we'll see where it goes. But
are there specifications for whatever line voltage comes into your house in Canada? Or I don't know what they would be for the United States, but saying certain things are allowed to do to happen and others are not. And you wouldn't think surges would be one of the things.
The short answer is no.
Oh no, really? Wow.
No. I mean, clearly the hydro distribution network will do its best efforts to try to prevent surges from appearing. But if there's a lightning strike a mile away, and it's near power lines, all the power lines in my neighborhood, which is the older part of town, they're all overhead. So if there's a lightning strike, a kilometer away, it may well induce surge currents in the power lines that are running at the tops of the phone poles.
Yeah.
And that in fact may cause a breaker to open and then auto reclose, which is the way they normally run these power distribution systems. And those auto recloses these days are very, very fast. And that may be what happened. And that may have produced the surge.
Well, whole house surge suppressors aren't that expensive.
And I've considered it, given that I'm not convinced from what I read that it would make that much difference, and it is expensive. I'm not so sure I would go that route. I haven't priced it, I admit, and I'd have to pay an electrician to put it in, which would be the really expensive part, I think.
Yeah.
So,
but it saves all of your lights, your automated light switches, and your dishwasher, which is real sensitive, and your refrigerator.
Never a problem with any of those things, though.
Yes, but I'm just saying that if you're getting surges, it could wipe those out too.
Yep. The horror stories I've read are pretty scary.
Because I had a lightning hit really close by one of my house, and all of my light dimmers and everything went out, and some other equipment went out, and I had to replace a bunch of my network equipment.
I live in a treed neighborhood, and I know for a fact that over the years I have had one lightning strike on the tree in front of my house and another lightning strike on a tree in the back of my house. Neither one of those created any problems, although both of them were prior to having power over Ethernet out of doors. But they never included any problems in the power system. And I've had fancy electronics all my life. So.
Yeah, I guess you're lucky you didn't have low voltage lights in your tree like I had. It blew up the transformer.
As you start to read about some of these things, which I've been doing today, it's astonishing the number of experiences people claim to have had in what sound like ludicrous ways. For instance, one guy says, never leave your garden hose spread out in your lawn, because if lightning strikes the garden hose, then it will go all the way into the plumbing system of your house. Now your ground is gone. Okay. Never thought of that one.
Well, I have none of the, well, okay, there's only like one section that has copper piping in the house that, that we live in now. All of the rest of it is PVC. So
mine's all copper.
I don't know if PVC conducts that well or breaks down under millions of volts anyway. So
the water inside of the pipe might, depending what else is in it.
Oh yeah. Maybe a little mineralization, and there you go. You've got a great conductor or something.
Yeah, typically, city water is usually fairly clean, and it's not very conductive.
Oh no.
Maybe depend how hard it is.
Yeah, so it tends to be more with out rural areas with different with the minerals in the water and that sort of thing. It becomes more conductive.
We have super soft water. It's like, you stick more than a little teeny glob of shampoo on your head, you're there for 10 minutes trying to rinse it out of your hair. So
soft means it has a lot of sodium in it, right?
Yeah. So probably, yeah.
So those of you with power over Ethernet, have you ever used a surge suppressor on the Ethernet cable?
I did.
What did you buy?
I can't remember. It was 5 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, because I'm a solar equipment and with an Ethernet connection. So I said, I really want to put a surge suppressor on that.
Yeah. That one comes up in the forums as well. People with solar arrays that have computers on them.
Yeah.
Or folks that run Ethernet out to their garage or their barn.
Mine, it's not Ethernet cable connected. I just have a monitor that connects through Bluetooth, so it's kind of separated and no direct wiring into the monitor.
The gold standard for surge suppressors apparently is based on the use of gas discharge tubes. That is very expensive. You can easily pay $100 per unit for protection like that. It's normally only a commercial or industrial application.
Oh, I thought they used what are they? TVSs, transient voltage suppressors.
Yes.
It's like two Zeners back to back at a certain voltage.
Exactly. Yeah. And the ones I've looked at that people have taken apart have exactly that in them. The only thing you have to make sure is that they are suitably high enough voltage on a power over Ethernet connection that you don't have a problem with the nominal 48 volts, which is the PoE voltage.
Yeah.
The one I looked at had 68 volt surge suppressors in them.
Huh.
Yeah, that's cheap enough. It was under $10. So we'll see.
Yeah, I posted my surge suppressor. Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, thank you. The other thing that people talked about putting in place for protection from lightning strikes is media translation interfaces that insert a meter of optical fiber in the Ethernet run, or they make the entire Ethernet run out of optical fiber in order to avoid the induction in the copper wiring in the cable. I'm not sure if that's expensive or not. I haven't looked into that, and I don't see it as applicable in my application.
Yeah, I think one of that was a chat GPT question I had. It's like, what things can I do? And have an alarm system with that still has wired just reed switches basically and magnets. And they said one of the things that you can do is optically isolate you know, that part of the circuitry from, you know, the processor side, and then add transient voltage suppressors. You could even add MOVs, I guess, to the, you know, on the secondary side of transformers and things like that. But so yeah.
Mike, I see the unit that you posted in the chat. That looks similar to the ones that I've been thinking of getting. I noticed it's unavailable, so there's no price there. Did you do anything special to hook up the ground wire? What did you hook it up to?
To the to the ground outside, or to the ground of the electrical wiring.
Oh, okay.
Panel wiring.
There's been a bit of
a safety ground. Yeah.
There's been some discussion as to whether hooking it up to the safety ground, which is what I would normally have done, is good enough, or whether you need to take it back to a true earth ground. Sometimes safety grounds are also earth grounds, and sometimes they aren't, apparently.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know my earth ground, well, yeah, it hooks up to my safety ground, so yeah.
Yeah, and if I was worried about electrical power, 110 volt power surge suppression, I would expect that the safety ground is good enough. But they talk about the fact that with lightning protection, the safety ground may not be good enough, and that you need to go find a solid connection to an earth ground. I'd have to think about that one, figure out where. When I had outdoor clotheslines, I had a solid earth ground. I installed a 6-foot earth rod in my backyard. But I don't have clotheslines anymore, so I'm not even sure if I took the rod out or if I could find it again.
You know, when I was doing a lot of IT consulting, you know, going under people's desks and all those sorts of things and running that stuff, people were like, well, I got this, you think this surge protector is good enough to protect against lightning? And they would they would show me some surge protector, some XYZ brand, whatever. And I said, yes. They go, how do you know? You didn't even look at it. I said, yes. And they go, why are you saying yes? Okay, there is no surge protector you have on the planet that's going to protect you from a straight-on lightning strike. What you're hoping to do is that $5 thing or $10, even $100 thing is going to burn up and blow up before the thing you got on the back side of that thing. That's what you're paying for.
Oh yeah.
There are some interesting videos showing laboratory testing of surge protectors that I found quite interesting, because most of the low-cost ones literally explode and catch on fire with a 10 kilovolt surge simulator.
Wow.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
When it comes to surge suppressors, whole home surge suppressors, you pretty much get what you pay for.
Yeah.
If you're buying a $100 surge suppressor, expect it to save about $100 worth of electronics.
Worth of stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to you want a good whole home surge suppressor, to buy one starts around $500.
Yeah.
And they have to be installed correctly by a licensed electrician that knows what they're doing.
That was my impression, Pat. Yeah.
If they're not, you turn a $500 whole home surge suppressor into a $50 surge suppressor.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. Your what you were calling your safety ground and your earth ground. There's only one ground, right? So are you making two earth ground connections? And
well, the safety ground and Pat, jump in if at some point. The safety ground in an electrical distribution panel is connected to the incoming neutral and ground wire in the power leads coming into your house.
Yes.
Which isn't necessarily an earth ground.
No,
there should be a rod in the ground. Yeah, there should be a rod in the ground.
A ground plate. It could be a couple of ground rods, and it could be tied to your water system. And all of that depends on how good your conductivity is, essentially outside of your house. So we've done testing at industrial sites with it, where you'll ground to a spot, and then you pound another earth ground in, 3 feet away, and 5 feet away, and 10 feet away, and you measure your resistance. And you're measuring resistance in, ideally you want down to single-digit ohms, and to give you an idea. So
Oh.
when you've got a surge suppressor on a chunk of number 16 or number 18 or number 24 wire, ground wire coming out of your protection device, well, if you're counting on that stopping a lightning bolt, the ground wire, you know, that little green ground lead is going to blow up in a split second.
Gonna vaporize. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. Whatever is conductive in the path in the area will carry on.
Yeah, you'll still have damage. You just want to move it somewhere else.
Yeah, so we had a lightning strike on a transformer, I don't know, 5-10 years ago I was working on. And when I opened up the transformer, it was a 13 kilovolt feed, 12.8 kilovolts going into the transformer. It was a copper bus bar. It was on the high voltage side. It was about 3/8 of an inch in diameter, feeding a 1.5 MVA transformer.
So here's one that looked interesting.
To give you an idea, the arc from the lightning strike from that copper bus bar jumped over a foot to the casing of the transformer. And that's after traveling down a pole, through a cable, you know, about 300 feet of cable into the transformer. So, you know, whatever you're putting needs to be very well connected.
Yeah, I saw a transformer at our my power company that was hit by lightning, and basically it looked like a bomb went off in the thing. It was just like shredded metal. The cylindrical portion of the transformer was just like ripped open. So,
and when it got hit, there's lightning arresters that they put in, you know, the same as they put up in utility poles where they mount inside the transformer case and in there, and they were just blown up. They were gone.
mm-hmm,
So there was where the leads used to be and nothing in between.
mm-hmm, yep.
And that's typical. It's you get hit by lightning and it's replace it. That saved probably a huge surge from going into the transformer, but it took out the main fusing in the transformer, feeding the transformer. But it did its job. We didn't lose any equipment down the line.
Mm. Yeah, I had a gate opener that looked like it got hit by lightning, and there were basically the components were rattling around on the bottom of the box, and there were just like 2 leads left on the printed circuit board. So it just like completely, you know, opened them up and melted the leads, and
May have protected something though.
yeah.
There was an electrical event in my neighborhood, and my next door neighbor had thousands of dollars worth of electronics blown up, and I didn't have any. But I had a whole house surge suppressor, and they don't, and we're just connected to the same transformer. So, but it's like a $600 surge suppressor. So yeah, that was like 5 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an interesting discovery. I'll see what I choose to install in the way of feel better protection. With no guarantees, obviously. Pat, one person in the forums said the reason why he pays for surge protection equipment is because if it comes from a good supplier, it comes with an insurance coverage.
Yeah,
that's all he's really buying is the insurance policy.
I know that Eaton, for their whole home surge suppression stuff, does come with an insurance policy. It also states that after you've had a surge, and usually there's a window in where you can see that everything turns black inside, that you need to replace it.
Yep.
So, if it becomes the second hit it's taken, and they'll know it's been hit more than once, your insurance policy does not apply.
Yeah.
So it's something you have to keep up on.
And that's the problem, because who knows how many surge hits your incoming power system gets.
Yeah.
You have to have some way of knowing that too. Anyway, interesting story. My radio controlled transmitter is now working on ESP now in one direction. So cool. I can send all the data from moving the controls around and receive it on another ESP32, and it works really, really well. It's really responsive, and that part was very easy to get working. I'm really pleased with that. I'll move it to bidirectional next, and then I'll add an I2C interface so I can control my robot with it.
What's the range that you're getting in just the one way?
Oh, I'm glad you reminded me, Ray, because that may be another problem. This wonderful box, well, there's the back, but this wonderful box, as I pointed out, has 0 ohms anywhere between it. And incidentally, I made another hole in it. You can see I made another hole. It happens to be shaped like a USB connector because that's what it's for. And I used that as an opportunity to measure the resistance of the inside edge of the plastic. The plastic itself is not conductive. This thing has been painted inside and out and in all of its manufactured holes with some form of conductive paint, which turns out to be effectively the same color as the plastic, which is why I thought it was plastic before. However, it's a very nice conductive coating everywhere. And that means that the little Wi-Fi antenna, which eventually will be, it's sitting on the other side of this proto board, eventually it'll be completely encased within something that's conductive. I don't think it'll radiate.
Oh, probably not. Yeah, or
So
it'll be so little you won't be able to have any range.
So I'm going to look at adding an external antenna to this ESP board. That's a fairly straightforward thing, and I have a bunch of them already. We'll see. But I don't think it'll work once I put the cover on the back.
But the hole is possibly, an escape route for the, radio waves. Just the right size hole might be good enough.
The instructions are aim the hole at the receiver.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe
I think I'll
very directional antenna.
I have a bag full of those little antennas for 2.4 gig here that I was using with another 2.4 gig application I had. I'll have to solder it in, but there's lots of people who have done it. So, and it apparently makes a significant difference.
Yeah, they're pretty small. I guess if you need to, you could mount it, on the outside of the box. And
I mean, it's the typical antenna that you find on every router. They're pretty easy.
Yeah.
The hard part's making the necessary cuts on the printed circuit board antenna to isolate the feed lines, and then to solder the little tiny resulting wires for the little tiny coax that goes out to the antenna. I don't have any ESPs that have connectors on them for antennas.
Yeah, I got one of the, I think they called it an ESPi. It's one of the cameras, and it had the external, antenna connection, but you had to move a little resistor over.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, this should be pretty easy. And I was just going to take the soldering iron and, heat the resistor, lift it off, reorientate it, and try to stick it back down. It pulled the pad off the output side of, the antenna. So there's nothing to connect to anymore.
Oh,
so it's
no.
like, okay, well, that one's ruined.
Pat, you were showing something there a moment ago?
Yeah, it's a little ESP. It's an ESP32 board with a little SMA connector on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If I buy any more ESP32s, I'll buy them with that connector on them already.
So this board has a pin, I don't know, GPIO 26, I think it is, that if you pull it low, it uses the external antenna. And if you leave it floating on high, it uses the onboard antenna.
That's even nicer.
Fancy. Yeah.
We've replaced the soldering iron with a pin.
Yeah. So I just discovered that by accident. I had ordered the board. And
that little antenna, though, the receptacle, that's not SMA, is it? The SMAs are bigger. They're like, quarter inch in diameter.
SMA, but I don't know what it is. It's an SM something.
Yeah, I can't think of what it's called either. But
see if I can find my bag full here. I don't know where they are. Oh. No, that's not it. Too many boxes full of too many parts I bought just in case. Oh well. Anyway, you guys know what they look like. So that's it. Thank you
Well, thanks for the update, Tom.
for what it's worth. And if you're running power over Ethernet or Ethernet outdoors, be cautious. It was a big surprise to me.
Oh, I had a question about the resolution. You said those were 4K cameras
4 megapixel.
or 4 megapixel. Yeah. I was asking, how many megapixels do you need to have, decent quality video? And ChatGPT was saying like anything above 2 megapixels.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have experience with like 2, 3, 4, if you get, that much better.
It depends what you're trying to look at and how far away it is. It's a pixel resolution thing, right? Field of view, pixel resolution.
Yeah.
For instance, I have one camera on my house that looks down the length of my driveway towards the street. And it would be really nice to have good identification out there at the street, but that's 50 feet away. And my 4 megapixel cameras with their relatively wide field of view are not that good.
Yeah.
Whereas I have one that looks backwards at my patio that's also mounted on the back of the house. So it looks backwards at my patio, and about 7 or 8 feet in front of it is my garbage can and my green bin, which the raccoons love to entertain on top of. I have great videos of the raccoons.
So the cameras that you got, are they, can you do an optical zoom with them? Or is it? No. Okay. Yeah. 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 I know some of them you can do that, but
yeah, I mean, there's so many options, and it depends on how much money you want to spend and how much fiddling you want to do. If you have a zoomable camera, who's there to zoom it?
Oh, I thought that would be like a, whatever,
Yep, it's a
tap on your phone that you could do, and
it's a control on the electronic dashboard, like your browser. But who's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you preview the video that was recorded, it's too late.
Oh,
Unless you apply a whole lot of AI to try and figure out when a good time to zoom is.
Zoom in on a license plate or a face,
Say that again, Pat.
That's where a higher megapixel camera comes in handy as well. So if you've got a bad image that you can't see at 4 megapixel, zooming it in doesn't make it better. But zooming it in on an 8 megapixel camera may make it better. You may be able to see clearer.
Great.
But optical zoom would look better.
Yeah.
Digital zoom wouldn't. Yeah.
My point is valid. Optical zoom is what I was referring to.
Yeah, but an optical zoom camera and whatever, now you're into way more dollars than the Chinese brand.
Yeah.
2 or 4 or 8 megapixel cameras.
Yeah. We have that discussion every time my wife says she wants to be able to get a closer look at the little free library at the end of the driveway, which is 50 feet away. I said, no. For several reasons. It'll be pricey, and B, you have to worry a little bit about the privacy issues.
Yeah, well, that's, a car pulling in just at the end of your driveway and you want to capture a license plate with a 4 megapixel camera, and you just can't reliably make out the lettering.
No.
Numbering on the plate.
I have to convince them to drive halfway up the driveway, then I can see it.
If they drove up another 30 feet, I would capture it very clearly. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Up next, we had Mike, who's going to give us an update on the sensors on his robot.
Yeah. I've been trying. Well, let me just show and tell a little. Let's see. Which one is it? Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is looks busy, but So the red line that goes around everywhere is the LIDAR. So if I turn it off, yeah. And I'm using it as I'm saying that's my reference. It's like I want my time of flight sensors to match the LIDAR, and to try to get stuff to align. And then you notice that this is my front of my robot here, and I have a box in front of it, and so you can see the time of flight. It's an 8x8, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by 8, and the edges of the box, of course, aren't that good, aren't that reliable. And I'm making I have 3 LIDARs in the front of mine, 8x8 LIDARs. I have a center point cloud and a left point cloud and a right point cloud. So that's my center point cloud there. I took off. And then these lines down here is like the ground reflection, the 4 reflection says, oh, there's a 4 there. And so I'm wanting to calibrate all of my time of flight LIDARs or laser, signals, point clouds and stuff to overlay onto the laser scan. And so if I put and here's my setup here. Oopsie. Okay, so I put the box in front of my car there. I'm on my phone camera, and I'm using the mic on the PC, so it'll get a little not so great. Okay, I'm going to go and show you the 3 time of flight sensors on the front of the robot. So right there, I have it mounted on the front, and there's all 3 of them. And
kind of looks like a winch on the front, so it's it's realistic.
Huh?
I said it looks like a winch on the front, so it's on a Jeep. It looks realistic.
Oh, okay, good. and so if I put the box, half of the sensor, the front sensor, like there's 3 time of flights, a front and a left and a right. I put the box here. So if I show you the camera here, yeah. So it's sort of basically pointing right at the the difference between the front and the left sensor. And on the RViz, you can see. Oh, I guess I should use that as my reference. I'll try to put the box halfway between the front and halfway between the right. Okay, so you can see that I've been adjusting it, and I'm trying to figure out how to adjust it. And you can see there's a gap in here, so I got to change the angle and stuff of my sensors to close that gap, so I don't have a gap like that. So it looks like a solid array, and then things will start being good. If I bring up the my URDF file,
so the colors of the different, it's their 8x8 did you do that just to designate, this one's on the lowest one, these are in the middle, that's higher up, or?
Yeah, well, RViz did that automatically. Yeah.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. Oh, here it is.
So it doesn't have it's not related to distance or anything. It's just different colors.
I think it's more
handy. There's
elevation.
different filters you can apply.
Oh,
to the color schemes, to the rendering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is my time of flight front center, and ideally it's pointing straight ahead, 0 degrees, 0 degrees, 0 degrees. But right now I was tweaking it and saying, okay, these aren't degrees, these are radians, and so to make it look pretty good relative to the LIDAR, to the laser, I had to tweak the angle in the y axis, and then this is the 0.6 and 0.1 is relative to my base, what's called a base line. I think it's baseline. Yeah. And so on the robot here, this sensor here is 0.6 meters relative to my centroid on an Ackerman. That's typically the differential on the rear drive, and then it's 0.1 inches from the axle of the differential too. So that's basically the position of my front center time of flight sensor. And then I have a left sensor, and I decided to make it relative to my front center one. And so basically it's 0.785 radians, which is about 45 degrees. And there's a little twist. I'm trying to find these corrections here to make it line up so that there's nothing below ground showing, and it's lined up exactly with the LIDAR, and it's flat up and down. It's like a straight up and down surface when I put that box in front of it. So, and then the front right one is the same thing, but it's negative angle on it, and I'm tweaking the numbers here, and I keep tweaking it, and I gotta say I probably need to think about it instead of just hacking a number and restarting it and seeing what happens. But but I'm just trying to understand when I see a distortion in my RBIS, which things I can correct to correct for that distortion, and it would all live in this the URDF file for my robot car. So if I
is that going to compensate for like going in a dip? Of course, I don't know if there's that many dips on Steve's property, but will it all of a sudden look like there's an obstruction in front where it's actually just looking at the ground because it's pointing down into a gully or something?
That's really hard to do. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean, to make sense out of it, because what is below? It's like if you're down in a gully, it's like you see the front, you see the upside of the gully, you see the bottom, the right.
Right. Yeah.
But like where is it? Where is zero?
Avoid all gullies, I think, is the solution.
Yeah. So. but I was wondering if, in ROS, I know the AMCL will correct for odometry, and the IMU is part of the odometry, and it gives you a tilt. You can see the tilt.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not sure if that corrects it properly. And also my chassis, moves because it's on springs and stuff.
Right.
And so this year I'm trying to get my sensors understood much better this year instead of just, hey, they work.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me bring this back up. Yeah, so it's pretty good. And then this is my windows here, the back wall, and it's lined up with it. So if I go in here and I let me do something simple again, like just a box in the front. So if I rotate this around, so you can see that it sees a flat surface for the box. So that's a pretty good success. But you can see the LIDAR here at the edges of the box. doesn't just stop, it sort of distorts when it's, yeah, when it's a sharp edge, because it's, you know, part of the edge, you know, part of the box is on that pixel and part of it's not on the pixel, so it just does what it can do. And then this is the ground reflection, that line there. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So this circle here is the ground reflection, and if I try to look at it straight on, about right there. Yeah, so you can see that the ground reflections are right at the ground level. So I'm starting to get it pretty well well done, so that so that my obstacle avoidance knows everything, positions relative to the robot. And you were talking about more complicated things like, oh, relative to Earth.
Yeah, to the
Wait, can you lift the back of your robot up a couple of inches and see if it detects the tilt?
I'll do it. So it's lifted right now.
So we can see that the box tilted forward looking,
Right.
but the lower register of your ultrasonics are now detecting the ground, but the robot itself didn't rotate in the plane, so you don't have an IMU that's adding pitch and roll to the position of your robot.
I think I'm relative to, see, what are my global options here? Okay, my fixed frame is the robot itself. It's not mapped.
Oh, that's why. So change
No.
it from base footprint to, have you got localization going on? You got map?
I think so.
You got map.
So nothing weird happened. So let's see what happens now.
Yeah, so your robot doesn't know that it's being lifted, or at least the map transform doesn't know that the robot.
So I probably zeroed out the stuff that wasn't quite interesting, like X and like Z rotation and X and Y. I probably don't have the Y and the X rotation.
Yeah, I don't think you do right now.
Enabled. So I was just trying to get rid of any noise. So I guess those are the things I should need to sort of play with.
It's a long road. There's lots to uncover there.
Yeah. And so here is the like, this is the back wall, and it's pretty well lined up with the LIDAR, and it's basically up and down, and yeah. So I'm trying to work on my sensors to get them all making sense and having them. Yeah. Oh, this is my IMU here. The transform from my IMU, I think, is right there. So you can see it's sort of it's way out of kilter, but that's like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's an interesting story going on here. Oh, what are all those little lines? I guess I got a long history or something on them. Let me put it back to what I'm used to. Put it back to
Base footprint.
Base footprint. And I was wondering. Oh well, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. To clean up all that other noise, probably just reset everything.
So are those supposed to be, XYZ axes for the IMU in the back, and why aren't they like perpendicular to the frame of the robot?
I don't know. They probably drifted or something.
Oh, okay.
So if I go to my transforms, where are my transforms? How do I get rid of this?
No,
image?
pitch and roll should be pretty stable on an IMU.
Transform. Which transform? So okay, so I have the map transform on. I have the base footprint, and the odometry footprint. So if I turn that guy off, oh, that's not it. So maybe it's the maybe the IMU itself has a axis. Enable axes, yeah. So wonder what axis that is. I gotta I gotta figure that out. Yeah. Maybe it's the GPS axis. Never know. So you can see I have a long way to go to get things tuned up. And this year I want to get my sensors well tuned up. Instead of just saying, oh, they work probably good enough. I want them to work as good as possible. So that's my show and tell.
So do you think it's going to be a case of TMI? You know, you have a lot of sensor input. Do you think you need all of that, or would the LIDAR suffice?
Well, probably the time of flight sensors is what I really need, and the LIDAR is sort of a crutch.
Oh, okay.
Because when you're wobbling around on the ground, the LIDAR sees obstacles. It sees the ground when it's sort of tilted one direction or another, or there's a tilt in the ground, and so I really limit my obstacle detection to a couple meters from the robot. So it doesn't try to avoid the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I think it's going to run into the ground.
Right. So probably my LIDAR is not very useful on here, but I think the time of flights are useful for obstacles. And I limit my my LIDAR to just a couple meters, and so anything above that is ignored, and anything when it gets close enough to something, this is start paying attention to the LIDAR.
Right.
Yeah. And the LIDAR is like a half a meter up in the air on top of my robot, and my time of flight sensors can see all the way to the ground. So they can see stuff that the LIDAR won't see. Yeah. So it's probably too much information, and I typically ignore a lot of it.
Yeah, hopefully they're not going to put any clothesline obstacles on the, on the track. Whoop, catch your LIDAR, mount.
Yeah. All right. How do I get rid of this? How do I shut this down? Oh, there you go. Oh, whoa. End this call for everyone. Just
No, don't hit that.
Just don't hit that button. No.
I think I did it right. Okay.
We're still here, so
I hit that button once and the whole thing shut down. Yeah, so that's it's coming along. I'm excited that it's all enclosed in the case, and I would like to say I don't have to open the case anymore, but I'm sure I'll have to open it someday and do something inside the chat, inside the electronics. But ideally, it's like, okay, all the electronics and everything is inside there, and nothing has to be touched. It'll just always work, and I can just work on programming. That's the ideal. All right.
Well, thanks, Mike.
Mhm.
Interesting update. Looks like you still have a fair amount of work to go through there, but it's coming along. Your sensors are starting to line up.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I tried to. It detects the cone and everything, and I tried to say go to the cone and touch it, and it just sort of sped up way too fast and rammed into the cone in the house here. So I don't have to demonstrate that. you got the visual.
Gold star for crashing into the cone.
I'll wait till next time when I can not have a crash.
There you go. Well, that was our list of presenters. Open the floor up to any questions. Any want to stump the club challenge?
No.
I guess we're in the thick of summer holidays, and that's it. Everybody's busy with other things or frantically working on their RoboColumbus robots. Can't attend the meeting.
Just trying to stay cool in Texas.
Yeah. Well, I could show the config that which is it? Local, global. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So I'm gonna share my screen again, and if I can figure out how to get back to the meeting. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so this is like the odometry, and which one's here's the GPS. Is this one my IMU? Oh, this is odometry. Oh, okay, local. Oh, that's already been fused. Okay, there's a different file. I think it's this one here. Does it have an IMU? Let's see. Ah, okay. Here's an IMU. So basically, the only things I have true on the IMU, well, there's only one thing, yaw. and to be able to do the roll and pitch, I have to set the this one, this one here true and this one here true, and then maybe then my IMU will feed into my robot model and show the tilt of the robot. Because right now I only have yaw, which is a Z axis, the Z rotation.
Mm.
So I figured I don't need to do those because I didn't know what to do with them. And maybe they'll help, or maybe they'll just make it more confusing. I'm not sure. But I think that's what Kareem was talking about is setting these two true so that my position of my robot changes based on my roll and pitch of my IMU on the RBIS screen. Something to play with. Lots of different things to play with. You can see, like my IMU, like I said, I only have one true on it. Because on my robot, I think I talked about it before, but I have a wheel and I have a drive shaft encoder, which gives me linear velocity, and but the steering is not, it doesn't have any good feedback. So I'm using this for my steering angle. So I know which direction my robot's heading. You know, on yeah. So basically it's like I move this way, I move that way. So that's the good ones. Yeah. So, and also I'm not sure which one to use, like to integrate the pitch velocity or try to use the raw pitch. So using the common filters and stuff, I can say use the raw pitch and yaw, which is basically, the yaw is basically in the compass direction, and the roll and pitch is a roll and pitch angle. Or I can just take the roll and pitch velocity and integrate it to get supposedly the same thing. And a lot of people say that this is much more useful or easier to use, or it gives it doesn't cause drift, or I don't know, but yeah, this is where you can spend your whole life trying to tune it up. And one thing I don't
Depends
really
a lot
understand,
on what kind of IMU you have.
yeah,
If it's already got onboard fusion, then I would just go with the absolute values.
oh, okay, because it's a BNO 85 or something, but yeah.
Yeah, I would just trust its fusion values if you got it in that configuration mode where you can.
So basically,
So
saying, these
you
might
actually
be,
enabled yaw velocity there, not just yaw. Is that right?
So yeah, I would, because the gyro only, a naked gyro that doesn't have fusion built in only gives you velocity, right? It gives you angular velocities. And so then you have to integrate them yourselves to get position. But if you have something that already has a fusion engine built into it, it'll be as tuned as you can probably get it better, and offload some processing. And so rely on the sensor that you bought. My philosophy, until you find otherwise, that's usually the better, shorter path.
yeah, like the BNO 85 and things like that. They have modes you can put it in. So I have to remember which mode I put it in. But I think I put it in the one that does all the fusing inside of it. So yeah, maybe that might be the better one, is to use its roll and pitch. But if it doesn't work well, then I can do my own integration and fusing. But you see, I could spend the rest of the year doing that and not even get my robot to drive. All
So,
right.
did I understand that right? You enabled yaw velocity, which says how fast you're rotating?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
integrate that to know how I'm steering. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically for my odometry, for my rotation odometry,
Yeah.
and for the robot body, for the steering angle. And it works pretty good. Then you fuse it in with the GPS and try to get absolute location and stuff. Yeah.
So, but you'd use that versus just yaw.
Oh, well, yaw and pitch would give me like the ground reflections relative to my robot. Or, yeah.
Roll and pitch would.
Roll and pitch. Yeah.
No, but I guess he's asking why you're not trusting the yaw from the BNO 85.
I don't know.
The fused one.
Yeah.
It's a little dicier. There's some you got to make some decisions about whether you want it to be differential, because there's an absolute component to it, and depending on whether you trust the magnetometers in your system, or you're indoors or outdoors, you can have different EKF configurations for the different environments that you find yourself in, and you just got to figure out what actually works for your robot. But I default to trusting the IMU as much as possible, although I'm pretty reluctant in most circumstances to turn on the mags.
Yeah, the last
Even
year
outdoors.
worked a long time, and this is the configuration that seemed to be stable. most stable. Yeah, most repeatable and stable.
Hmm.
But I could have always just screwed something up when I tested it. So
Okay. I don't know. I've found the B&O 85 and just using it in RVC mode and pretty much the only the only parameter I look at is yaw. So I'm using it like a compass.
okay.
And it seems to work good indoors or outdoors. So I haven't had any complaints. So
Guess I need to review it again and see which mode am I in.
in fact, I used it on the 6-can contest. And I know the B&O 055 did not work well in that same area that, where the course was positioned. But I actually got with Mark and set up the course and tested it before the contest just to make sure I wasn't going to give me any grief, because I was testing it upstairs pretty far away from any rebar or anything metal that would screw up the magnetometer. So I didn't, and I had experienced, in previous contests where the B&O 055 didn't work that well. So I don't know if it was getting confused by the rebar in the concrete in that room, in wherever the course was laid out, or what, but it seemed to work very well this time and did what I needed it to do. So
Yeah, that's the whole problem with the mags, is like it's very sensitive to where you happen to be. And so you can't develop a trust for it always working indoors. Unless you actually happen to know how the building was built and exactly where you are and stuff like that. So
they put down the course where it was going to be, and I tried it out several times, both directions, and it's like, okay, it seems to work.
Yeah.
Are you sure you just didn't pay off Mark to set the course up in the direction you wanted it to go?
There you go. Just the right angle, the right spot in the room.
Can you tweak it and push it a little this way?
That's right. A few inches to the left would really work. So, but who knows? Maybe that section of the room where the course ended up doesn't have any rebar on the floor or something. Or the orientation is, aligned with 0 degrees. So it, it just works, So. But.
Well, thanks, Mike. Update on your robot. Does anyone else have something to present or questions for the club?
Nope.
I guess we call it a summer schedule and basically hit the road till next Tuesday.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you next week.